Good morning, everybody. We'll be starting soon in just a couple minutes. Do we need some relaxing background music? Why not? Actually, that's my thinking is while we're waiting for people. I mean, it gives you something to listen to. It also gives me some time to set up as well. I had a buy in for the pound as well off the news. Got out and have some sells in now. The money. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the current situation with the pound. Uh, well, my two pairs, and get to why things are happening the way they are. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and start since I actually have to leave a little earlier today. So okay, so guys, so we're in drawdown. I mean, I'm sure you can see that. It's pretty obvious. Um, and yeah, so waiting pending home sales. I don't think there's going to be a lot of action on that. Wrong website. Yeah, pending home sales. I'm not expecting to be too crazy on the market move today. Um, the crude oil investments could affect my CAD positions though. So let's get into those now. So I'm on a 5%, 5.5% drawdown. As you can see here, it shows the current drawdown amount and the actual percentage as well. So not looking great right now, but I did have a stream yesterday, but my trades did close out. So I'm going to go into those real fast, and then I'll talk about the current positions. So you can see that my trades closed out here for $510 loss, right? And I had quite a few orders. Now that's on the hedge, the euro pound. Then I had my trades close out on also at the same time on the pound CAD. Now these trades were in $616 profit. So I actually came out with a decent profit of about 0.5%. It was 0.45%. And then it continued to head down at that point. I was considering leaving the positions in, but since I already had waited a while for it, I decided to close out. Now, right after that, I actually entered another buy position. Now, there was an entry here with the potential to bounce there. It did not, and it fell further. So I entered late, and it continued to keep falling. I kept entering until this bottom level here. I didn't quite get the recovery that I needed, and it fell further. So the thing is here is that we are amidst the Brexit official Brexit exit. Um, Now, if we go to forexstreet.com, hopefully you guys have a website that you check out for the news. I like these guys. Um, and they have a lot of the information that's going on right now. And Theresa May is set to start a 2-year Brexit process today. And so that's why all the market volatility. Um, and it's been a little bit jumpy with the pound. Some see this as positive for the UK, negative, and so it's fluctuating quite a bit. I think that the overall bias is going to be down for the pound. I'm hoping to get out before it continues that downward spiral. Maybe it can push back up a little bit, and we close out for a profit. Um, but the euro pound is a different story. Now, this has been kind of interesting and a little bit unfortunate in my case as well. You see that in the last, from the top, it's come down. We have a lot of orders in this area, right? It's pushed down. Now, what's interesting about that is the pound CAD has pushed up. But if you look at the spacing between the two, if you look at the bottom and to the top, it's about 108 pips. If you look at the top to the bottom of the euro pound, it's also 108 or just over 108 pips. The difference is not that much. Typically, you'll find the euro pound a lot less volatile than the pound CAD. It's almost always the case because of the Brexit uh, uh, issues that are going on right now, and people looking at that as really negative for the euro. It pushed the euro down in a big way, and the pound was also on the upside. So we had a difference of correlation there. So a correlation of the euro and the pound USD, which has been a lot of uh, in the longer term since the Brexit started taking place back in mid to late last year uh, has been in effect overall, but that has been changing, and today is a little piece of that change, where one is going up, the other one is going down. It doesn't always happen. They're in some way or form correlated, and I expect to see that still in some way in the future. But today it caused our hedge to go off a bit with this idea here, pushing down, and the pound also pushing up. So the correlation was working. It just wasn't working with the pound being more volatile, the pound CAD being more volatile than the euro pound. Um, and so sometimes that will happen. The correlation and the volatility will catch back up eventually, but it means that I have to wait for that to happen again. So unfortunately, we're in a very tricky time right now, where there is either a really flat market or it's incredibly volatile, and that's what I'm trying to watch out for. And right now, we are looking at an unfortunate drawdown situation that may take some time to correct itself. Um, and I just have to be patient again. So yesterday, I did close out profit. That's fine. So we're in a total profit of 1.1%, which I'm pretty happy about. Uh, but again, it's my expectation of 10 to 20% is going to be slowed because of events like this. Um, and it's a little frustrating because of uh, things that I can't control, which is uh, the euro falling and the pound climbing, in that correlation being so off. Um, and for me, being in drawdown, but it's not that much. It's only 5.5%. It's not huge. We know that this is a high risk account, and we understand the risks involved with it. 1.1% since I started back on the 23rd is actually pretty good. It's only been about a week, and that's still a 1% profit. I'm not crying over that, but I was hoping for more, but I'll take what I can get. Okay, so what's your good spacing? 20 pips and why reasoning? Thank you. Yes, my spacing is 20 pips. Now you can see that's 20 pips on the pound CAC. 'Cause that's the pair that we're taking the positions on. And whenever a position goes in on the pound CAD, then we have a position that goes in on the euro pound. As you can see, the volatility on this pair is typically less, so our orders are not 20 pips apart. And that is the plan. That is what I meant to do with the strategy. Okay, so yes, 20 pips apart, and the reasoning for that is I've done a lot of back testing for the strategy to see what has worked the best. And a 20 pip grid on using the system that includes a 20 pip grid when I'm trading the euro pound by itself, and when I'm trading the pound CAD by itself. 20 pip grid works for both. And the reasoning for this is because the spacing, if it's too far apart, then we have to wait for too large of a recovery. So, for example, this pushes down, and I need this to push up, right? To push up in order for these trades to close out. Now, it went pretty high, but I need to go further. Um, and the more trades that I have in, so the smaller the spacing between my orders, the smaller the recovery I need on that. So when this actually starts pushing in my favor, I won't need as much of a recovery or retracement to close out my positions. So I thought that 20 pips was a good balance of allowing me to giving my orders a lot of space or enough space, and also closing out orders early enough and not having to wait for hundreds, if not thousands of pips for my orders to close out because my grid is too wide. So I hope that explains it and makes sense. Don't you have a correlation indicator on chart at all times? I do not have a correlation indicator. Um, I'm not really sure why you would need one on chart. You can use things like your eye for one, and you can also use my FX book for correlations as well. My FX book is one of the tools that you can use. There's a couple of other indicators that I've checked out in the past that can be uh, that can be helpful as well. Let's see if I can find the correlation. Here it is. Okay, so you can see all the correlations. So let's go to the pound cat, and you can check the time frame of a day. I like to do as high as possible a month because I feel like it gives you the best representation of the best correlation. As you can see, and we have almost a 90% correlation of the euro pound, which is why I'm uh, you know doing the correlation and the hedging on that pair. You can also see it here as well in negative correlations too. So it's a pretty cool tool. It's not like you know it's not gold. This idea, like the golden rule, is to look at my FX book for your correlations, but it can be helpful. Okay, so this is what my results look like right now. They are decent, like I said, 1.15%, and we have the current drawdown. It's showing as 6.6% as the highest that we've actually hit on the account. Now, right now, currently, it is fluctuating around a lot because of how many orders we have in, 5.7%. Now, I hope that things don't get out of hand here. There's always a possibility. For those of you that are watching, I can test the euro pound uh, independently and the pound CAD independently, but I cannot test a strategy like this in the tester very easily. That is, where I have orders that are being placed on a 20 pip grid on the pound CAD, and then at the same time, whenever an order goes in on the pound CAD, the euro pound also takes an order. Um, I can't really test that in the tester, but I know that the strategy works on both pairs, and I should be able to pull out and profit at some point. I don't know how long it may take, but what will happen is if the pound continues to push down, which I expect it to do in some way. If I'm lucky, we'll push up here, but with the pressures, Brexit pressures, I expect it to push down more. And if it does, then that means I will enter more orders on the 20 pip grid as it keeps continuing to go down, right? And when that happens, likely the euro pound is going to continue to shoot up, and I will have that hedge, that positive hedge. Now, right now, like I was telling you before in the beginning of the stream, the hedge, the correlation has been a bit off, where I've been in negative on both sides of the trading basket, of the overall trading basket. But you can see that there has been a bit of a recovery, at least on this one candle, showing us an inside candle, a pretty large one at that, with the potential for this to continue to jump up. Um, so the correlation is happening but there was a lot of volatility on the euro pound, a pair that is typically not that volatile. Okay, how often do they update that? I use another indicator, just asking. They actually update it pretty often. I believe it's on a weekly or even daily basis, but I can't give you that uh I can't give you that information for sure though. It might even be on a daily basis, but I can't be positive. Okay, so yes, we're a drawdown, and it's not fun, right? None of us like drawdown. 5.7% is easy to deal with. I still have 5,463% of margin, so I have a lot to work with. I'm not scared at this point. I think that the time where I'd start to be getting to get a little worried is if I'm in the 20% drawdown stage or 30. That's when I'll start to get a little shaky and be like, something's not quite working here. And I would consider closing out for a loss at that point. If I see that there's no way for me to get out of the current positions, um, and at least in a clean way. If I see that, I will close out. And if I see that there is a way, then I will hold on to my trades. It's not something that I'm crossing my fingers for. I'm not going to be, I think that this will move into my favor, or I'm hoping that it will. I have to be prepared for um, if that happens, if I hit a 20 to 30% drawdown, how am I going to approach that situation? Am I going to be looking for a Hail Mary type of situation where I need a lot of luck, or is there some strategy that I can do in the hopes to recover from a drawdown like that? So we're only at 5.5%. It's still early on. I don't know how things are going to pan out, but I'm going to obviously keep a very close eye on it. Okay, so uh, what about this? What about scalping? I know that that's something that I wanted to do, and that was something that I wanted to do in the streams. Um, and scalping has taken a little bit of a backseat because of how many orders that we're currently in, and it becomes a lot pretty tricky because I don't want to use up all of my margin. As you guys know, my scalping strategy is martingale, um, and it can be it needs all the available margin in the account just in case things go against me, and I want all the available margins so I can get out of of a situation like that. And So I haven't been able to do that this week at least. But I still plan on doing some scalping. I'm pretty concerned about it at this point because of the amount of levels I can go. I can go 10 levels before basically not being able to go anymore and potentially having a margin call at that point. And that is on a 6 pip grid. So that strategy is on a 6 pip grid, and you can see that I use the um, this TMA indicator, and I mentioned before in my last videos that I take long positions when price breaks the green line, and I take short positions once price breaks the red line by 1 pip on each side. Um, and I enter on a grid after that, and looking for a small amount of pips and profit using a martingale strategy to come out with profit. It's a good strategy. It can be tricky to use during news times, and so that's why I don't recommend doing it, or when you have other orders in like I do right now. Um, so I'm testing in the background different settings still to try to find something that can work during the news, so I don't have to babysit it so much, and also trying to find a consistent strategy that works in the long term. And Still haven't found something that works longer than 2 years. So I'm really looking for that with the strategy. I feel like there is a eventual event that would happen with scalping is that I would blow an account. So eventually I would blow an account, but I or blow the account, and so it's important for me to use the strategy here and there during non-news events and when the volatility or liquidity in the market is fairly steady. Still testing things out, but I hope to get that back to more scalping later on the week if these trades happen to close out. I think I will be in these for some time though, unfortunately. This pound cap position. I hit 3% drawdown yesterday, but I came out with 0.5% profit, and today I've hit 6% loss, and I still hope to come out with maybe zero point 0.5 or 1% profit. But if I see that there's problems with this basket, which I see that there currently is at the moment, I'm hoping that things will regulate more once things become a little bit more settled, hopefully later this week. Um, and I may close out at break even or even profit, but I'm going to I'm going to be looking at the market and watching it to see what the best decision is. If it's break even, if I see more profit potential, then I may leave my trades in. Let's see. Uh, Gotta look. How often do you have to? Okay. Ouch. Drawdown. Yes. Yeah. Drawdown. The drawdown sucks, but like I said before, this is a high risk account. This is only 5.6% drawdown. You can keep an eye on it so hopefully you guys can see this. Um, you can see the drawdown right here. You can see the number, which is $1,348, which seems like a lot, especially as somebody has like a smaller account. But this is a $24,000 account. It is live. This is real money. So, um, yes, it does suck to see that. Trust me. Um, so this is we still have a healthy account. We're still in profit. Our drawdown has exceeded uh, our balance, obviously, since we've only brought in $275 profit. Okay, so that's where I am right now. I wasn't planning on having this stream be very long because of the trades that I'm currently in. We're not making profit. We're waiting for drawdown to come out. I actually have a meeting here in a few minutes with JP Morgan. So JP Morgan and Chase, and they've uh, found an interest in me and potentially maybe doing something with them in the future. Um, so uh, maybe I don't know how that conversation is going to go today, but I actually am talking to somebody high up at JP Morgan um, in regards to trading and EAs and strategies. Uh, so uh, yeah, pretty excited about that, but also not too excited about my current uh, account status with the open trades, but that should equal out later on in the week or potentially next week. I could be in these trades for some time. I would see me being in these trades for the rest of the week at least, and potentially next week as well. Looking at the current situation, looking at the price, looking at the volatility, considering all the factors, and also the Brexit on top of that. Um, so let me see if there's anything else I wanted to mention today. Um, yeah, sorry to disappoint, pretty much. I know that you guys wanted to see some profit. I have made some. We are up 1.1%, but things are on hold until I can get these trades closed out. I will be changing a few things. After this, um, I don't know if JP Morgan's a market maker or not. I'm going to find out more information, Norbert, today. And So I'm going to be making a few changes to the strategy. I just mentioned to you guys that whenever I have a trade that goes in on the pound CAD, I also have an accompanying trade that goes in on the euro pound as a hedge. Uh, Now I'm going to be running these pairs independently after this current basket closes. So that means that we won't see this. We won't see so many trades boxed together, grouped up like this. That means if the euro pound happens to become very volatile, like it did, then we are either in trouble or we are in big profit, right? Either we're on whatever side the market happens to give us. And this won't be happening anymore. We will be on a 20 pip grid on the euro pound and a 20 pip grid on the pound CAD. And once we have, or on that chance that we both pairs happen to have orders in. So if we have independent orders on the euro pound and independent orders on the pound CAD, then I will be looking for an overall profit basket amongst both pairs at that point. But if there's only trades in on one pair, for example, on the pound CAD, if there's only trades on that pair on my account, then it will be taking the basket and profit just on that individual pair. What this will do, it should help decrease the number of orders, for one, and it should help us with drawdown as well, and recovering from trades. I think this will be a better idea. We'll have less trades overall, but it will give me some extra margin and room to scalp on top of that, so I'm not just sitting here waiting um, for the market to go into my favor. Andy, Ryan, any idea where I can get a momentum indicators like the one Andrew uses on FX signals? Um, I don't know of the momentum indicator that he uses. I thought that he used just the standard momentum indicator. Uh, but momentum is uh, there's so many indicators that do basically the same thing. Like you can get so many, for example, like stochastic and the CCI and the RSI, all those kind of indicators, you can uh, change the settings so they all kind of do the same thing. Momentum is a volatility meter, basically, that shows you where the market is potentially going. And there are other indicators that you can use. I mean, for one, I actually use one of those same kind of indicators, which is, I don't think I have it loaded now. Let me see if I can find it. Which is the RSI. So I use the RSI or the RMI for basically my momentum. And this is a custom indicator, and it shows you basically the same thing. See the market's pushing down here. Here we go, the line here, and it crosses the lines. A lot of times I'd enter orders, short positions. Once we break the top and it curves back down, enter short here, and it falls back down, and continue holding on to your short trade until this point, and that would be your exit. So if you're, I mean, this is a pretty big move, but if you were actually to catch that move using that kind of indicator, you'd have a 220 pips in this particular case. Now that's very nice, but this doesn't always happen this smoothly. But I have used this indicator in that way before, where it crosses from above, from above to below, and then stays underneath the 30, and then crosses back under, indicating a potential change in direction at that point. Now, it doesn't look as pretty as that. I could just say that that's the way the indicator works all the time. No, that would be basically the holy grail, right, of trading indicators. You'll see that they're not as clean. For example, we have the same break here from the top to the bottom, and so if we entered short here, it didn't really work out. It didn't continue to go down. It fluctuated a little bit and went back up, and we had a continuation, obviously. So it looked like it was going to go down. It was a fake out, and then the next one, that's when it moved down. But this is the kind of stuff that you can use. That's why I like this indicator so much. It's because it can tell me so much. What can it tell me? It can tell me how long the trend will last for. For example, once the trend is intact, so once it does follow this direction and head down, it will tell me how long it may stay in that downward direction, and then with an exit here. Uh, but that's one way to read the indicator. Another way to do it is how far uh, is an entry here. Same thing. So a counter trend type of indicator. So it can show you trends and it can show you counter trend trading as well, all in the same indicator, which is pretty rare that one indicator can really show you how to do that, and it gets you in potentially at the beginning or near the beginning of that push back up. All right, so it's a great indicator. You can find it online. There's multiple RMI indicators. This one's very simple. I've had it for quite a long time. There's probably better ones out there, but I like it. And it shows me when trends may be slowing down. So if we have this push, for example, um, here, we see that the trend is continuing at this point. When it breaks this top level, that means that the trend is strong at this point. When it breaks the 70 level, that means that we're definitely in the overbought territory, but that means the trend is so strong that it could just continue. And we'll stay in that overbought territory until we have a break back down on the 70. Um, and so this shows me how long this move may continue, or once it starts slowing down, which is that cross back down, right? So this would be a good place to exit a potential trade. So there's so many different uses with this indicator, and that's why I love it. And it's pretty much the only indicator that I actually use right now. Okay. All right. So it looks like you go on the side and download it for free. Is that the best focus? Hard to explain his show individual. Hard to explain his show individual currencies, not pairs. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about at this point, but uh, hopefully it doesn't have to do with me because if I don't understand what you're asking, I can't really, uh, I guess, give you an answer. Current drawdown on the trades is now at 5%. As you can see, it does fluctuate quite a bit with how many orders I have in. I do have a total, if you're wondering, of 18 orders. I have 18 orders in right now, so quite a lot. Still have a lot of margin because we're dealing with a 1,000 to 1 leverage account. You can see all my account details here, um, and the profit that I've made so far as well. All right, guys. Not pairs, no problem. Okay. All right, Andy. So nothing that we're looking at this point. I wanted to tell you what my current strategy is, where I'm planning to go. I'm just going to be waiting. I probably won't have a stream tomorrow. As long as these trades are sitting in drawdown, I don't think it's necessary to have a stream because I can't really tell you much about what's going on. I can give you an update, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I did yesterday. A very quick 3 to 5 minute update on the trades and the current positions in the drawdown, and if any changes have been made. But since I don't like to do streams when I don't have a lot to talk about, and so once these trades close out, I may have more to talk about because I'll be actively potentially scalping the euro US dollar, and that's something I can talk about more as I go with you, and we can also see profit being made right straight on camera. So um, with that being said, guys, I'll wait it out. I'll give you an update on what's going on, and once these trades close out, we'll have another stream. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.